I grew up on the beach, and I think if you think of the summer, you think of the beach, and especially if you were a beach kid. I mean, whether you went to the beach a lot or you grew up where I grew up feet from the beach. I'm one of those kids who grew up on the beach. I'm Long Beach, West End, East Atlantic Beach kind of guy. Down that area. I grew up down on the ocean, lived right on the ocean, and spent all my time as a kid on the beach. And what you remember a lot of the summer from is songs that you could walk along the beach and hear from blanket to blanket the same song on the radio at the same time. I'm someone who grew up right on. I mean, I spent, when I was a little kid, every day on the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, I was one of those kids like they, throw in the water at 6 months kind of thing, So you don't grow up with any fear of the ocean. You've been in the ocean every day when you're a kid. I grew up feet from the Atlantic Ocean.
In the morning on the fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
7:41, 19 till 8 o'clock. I'm Mr. Morning, and here from WF. And with sports is Mike Francesa. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Don. The Jets, who shocked a battered Cleveland team last Sunday. I'm not interrupting your breakfast, am I, Imus?
Just read the sports, stupid. Nobody knows I'm having breakfast. This is radio.
You burp on the air and no one knows you're having breakfast?
Just finish with the sports. I have some questions I want to ask you.
Okay, the Jets, who shocked a battered Cleveland team last Sunday, host the unbeaten Oilers in their home opener. The Oilers have replaced the Raiders as the dirtiest and hardest-hitting team in the NFL. They also happen to be pretty good, but they'll be without quarterback Warren Moon. The Celtics announced that off-injured Bill Walton will miss the upcoming season with a foot injury. We would not even have known that if they didn't tell us.
Yeah, I mean, because he didn't play last year.
He never plays.
Yeah.
He's played about 1/4 of his career.
Well, he played well that 1 year for Boston when they won the
right, defensively. And he had a great year in Portland in 1976 when they won a championship. Right. And healthy, was one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
And did a heck of a job of hiding Patty Hearst when he was up in Portland. But overall, Walton's had an injury-riddled career.
Was he a homo or?
His problem is he has congenital foot problems and bone problems, and he's very brittle.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat like you are. I think you're very brittle, probably.
I'm going to slap you around with that, so if you don't...
Anytime you want.
Show a little respect.
Somebody asked me yesterday, they said, what does Imus really look like? And I paused for a second and tried to come up with...
I look good, by the way.
I tried to conjure up an accurate image, and I said, Willie Nelson on a bad day.
That's the worst thing you've ever said to me. I've only known you 2 days. You've said a lot of horrible things to me. That's the worst thing you've ever said.
And the San Diego Padres, who have played very well since dumping Larry Bowa and could be a pretty good team next year, have signed Jack McKeon to a new 3-year deal. He'll give up his general manager duties to concentrate on the managerial position. And that's it.
That's a fine report, Mike.
I'm glad you liked it.
I think Georgia Tech is a very, very good defensive team. A lot of personnel on that side of the football. I don't think they'll be able to get it done offensively today. They'll leave their defense on the field too long, and Virginia will make enough big plays to win this by more than 3 touchdowns, 34-10.
Let's go! Let's go! Number 1, Virginia has been dethroned, and the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Herman Moore for Virginia and Calvin Tiggle, a fumble recovery and an interception for Georgia Tech.
Coach, you always stressed balance, never having a team get too high, too low. That was always a credo at UCLA. Does that concern you from the Duke perspective after that game against UNLV, such an emotional game?
UNLV tried to become the first team since Coach Wooden's 72 and 73 teams to repeat, but they fell 1 game short of playing for the championship. Mike Francesa pick us, and so I know you've been struggling with this pick. Who's your pick for tonight?
Pat, I think Duke has the better overall talent, but I sense something special in the Kansas team. They know how to play tough, physical ball. They are on a roll right now. They're a good team that knows how to play great. I think they have one more upset in them.
You're going to stick with Kansas.
Stick with
Kansas. On that train. We're in the Kansas section here. They'll love you here, okay? So.
Final seconds. Jordan will put up the jumper. It doesn't matter. Duke has won its first national championship.
Mike Francesa, a Duke team that's very young.
Well, before we get to that, there isn't a person associated with college basketball that isn't happy to see Coach K finally win a national championship. He's one of the great coaches in America. And you talk about Duke being young. With what they have returning, Pat, and the recruits they have coming in, the big question next year is going to be, can Duke repeat? Because they will be preseason #1.
In the league where they play. for pay. I never hear the Giant pregame on the radio. Why would I at 1 o'clock? I'm watching football. I'm watching football at 1 o'clock. I'm watching football at 4 o'clock. I'm watching, and you're in the witching hour, so don't bother me in the witching hour, okay? I grew up on the NFL Today, as some folks know, and it was Brent Musburger who came up with it. Between 3 o'clock and 4:30 in the 1 o'clock games is the witching hour. At 3 o'clock, before 3 o'clock, you can check the scores. Right, here's what you do 1 week. At 2:45, go to all the 1 o'clock games and write down the scores. And then go back and write down the scores when all the 1 o'clock games end. That's why you call it the witching hour. So many of those games will turn and twist and turn and change, and that's the witching hour. That's it. We used to call it. We used to say, "Hey, witching hour, here we go." And and then it was all hell was going to break loose between 3 and 4:30 with the one. And a long 1 o'clock game is 4:15, 4:17. That's a long 1 o'clock. Sometimes you get it to 4:30, especially if you get an overtime. It could go a little later than that. But that's the witching hour. You get ready for the witching hour. That's it. And I still, every time I'm watching the 1 o'clocks, get ready, I'd say, oh, almost witching hour. Because you watch how dramatically those scores twist and turn and change, and how many teams are winning and they're losing and winning. Yesterday, Cleveland's winning then. The Lions are winning then. Okay, just go and check it out. Every week, you'll see the games go twisting and turning in that witching hour at the end of the game. It's the best time. 3 to 4, until the 1. 3 to the 1 o'clocks are over. That's the witching hour.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66 WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's Mike and the Mad Dog on the Fan. Nothing can get by 'em. Turn it on and try 'em. Mike and the Mad Dog, WFAN.
The idea was Mike and the Mad Dog, and to your credit, now obviously after what happened, there was, as I remember, a tremendous amount of opposition to that idea.
There was.
You ever doubt your idea?
Oh, yeah. I doubted. I'll tell you when I really doubted it the most was driving home the first day.
Oh, it was terrible, yeah. We had a rough day. Yeah.
Terrible is,
Yeah, it's good.
It's kind of kind. Driving home that first day to New Rochelle, and I was going up the Whitestone Bridge, and I thought, boy, this bridge is really high. And I've really made a career-ending decision here. I couldn't understand a word Chris said. It was like learning, and I think that was true for a lot of people. It was like learning a foreign language. I love him. He's great. But you couldn't understand a word he was saying. So then I thought, oh, now what have I done to this great radio station? It's just the end of that. It's the end of my career. And I thought, well, so if my life insurance is paid up.
Right.
If I do a header off this bridge, that'll be the end of that.
But you stuck with it.
We're stuck with it.
And you coached a lot. You had me and you had Dog, and you coached a lot.
Yeah, but you know what, Mike? You guys really caught lightning in a bottle.
And
you guys, as you well know, you worked hard at it.
Oh, we did, as a matter of fact. When did you realize it had clicked? Was it the first book, or was it before that?
It was before that. I can't really pick a time, but the chemistry just, which might not have worked out, as you know,
right.
It just clicked. And there was sort of a time, it wasn't any particular moment, but you guys got comfortable with each other. You got into a rhythm, and it was sort of this magical thing.
Mike and the Mad Dog on Sports Radio 66, a fan, WFAN.
Here's the bottom line.
You can't go to the bathroom, Dog, during the game. It takes 5 innings.
You have to figure out. I understand that.
Well, that's not the case at Fenway Park. At Canada George, it takes 2 minutes to go to the bathroom.
But it doesn't take you 5 minutes.
Yes, it does.
At Yankee Stadium?
No, at Fenway Park, it takes 2 hours.
Mike, we're talking about Yankee Stadium here.
It can take a while to go to...
Oh,
yes,
Mike.
it can.
Yeah, what are you, nuts?
Absolutely.
Yankee Stadium?
Absolutely can.
Mike, I've been I have been to 100 playoff games
absolutely.
there. I have had no problem going to the bathroom.
Let me tell you something.
For 100 playoff games in 12 years.
let me tell
If
you
you think
something.
there's a line there,
Yeah.
you're not waiting the same lines I'm waiting
Well,
at.
I'll tell you something.
If everybody was built in
Let me tell you
1912, it's a little
something.
different.
Listen, I go
Bathroom.
when I go to the bathroom during the
I
playoff
never do.
games. I go to press box.
I never do. I
because
go in.
there's always lines outside.
Never is. I
totally disagree.
I'm in that back. I hop in there. I mean, I'm back
You're
in my
gonna-
seat
you're
now.
gonna-
So I'm back in my
Look,
seat in 5 minutes.
Look, how are you going to compare what Fenway, what Camden Yards has to what Yankee Stadium has? I don't sit in a press box. I've never sat in a press box for a game in my life.
You just said you go to the bathroom in the press boxes.
I don't sit in the press box, dog. I go up there and get a bathroom because I don't have to wait online.
Right, do you get a Coca-Cola in a press box?
No.
You never do. You
No.
can wait online for Coca-Cola.
No, I don't do it, dog. I go there just to go to the bathroom so I don't have to miss any action. I go upstairs to go
You
there.
don't have to miss any action. I've never used the press box in
There's
the
always a
bathroom.
line.
Oh,
There's
God.
always a line. And I've been there for a zillion times, and I will appreciate a new ballpark.
Mike Francesa and the Mad Dog. Chris Russo on the fan. WFAN.
The kid's story. This morning I wake up, and Jack got up earlier, which he sometimes does. And he came in and he was watching a little TV with me. So finally we go to wake up Emmy, and Emmy's sleeping a little late this morning. So Emmy finally wakes up. And she doesn't look good. Go and say, Em, you all right? No, I don't feel good. Belly hurts. Okay. So I pick her up, and she's hot.
That's another problem.
Oh. So I put her in the bathroom, take her in the bathroom. Well, I took her in the bathroom when she gets up anyway because, she has to go when they get up because they're in underwear. They don't wear anything to bed.
Right,
They
right.
sleep all night. They're good. Jack and them, they're completely housebroken.
Not mine, but go ahead.
And housebroken, not housebroken. You know what I mean? They're
Like Colin Russo.
Yeah, they're good. They can sleep all night in their underwear. So she gets up and I put her on the potty, and all of a sudden, up came everything.
Oh, that's tough.
Threw up all over the place.
Oh, God, that's the worst scene.
So I yelled for Roe.
I was in a weird spot on Saturday. You mentioned the poopies and all that stuff.
No, I didn't mention. I just mentioned she sat down and threw up. She didn't do anything else. Thank you.
Colin, we have issues with Colin with this area.
What would the issues be?
Well, he makes mistakes.
Oh, he does? How old is Colin?
5. And Sunday at the Garden, he says, Daddy, I got to go potty.
Okay. So what do you do?
So I take him up.
I haven't had that happen yet. What do you do with the game?
I took him up to the bathroom.
Right.
And he went in the stall and would not let me go in. But he's on a regular. Is the thing too big for him? No,
or no?
I guess he handled it.
Okay.
He locked it. He wouldn't let me go in. Did his thing. As soon as we got home, he did it. Everything fine. As soon as we got home, back in his pants again. He's lazy.
Back in his pants.
I can't understand.
So what do you tell him?
I say, Colin, what are you doing here?
And what does he do?
You don't want to yell at him. I mean, what do you do?
Wait a second. You got to do something. How does he go to school?
He doesn't do it at school. No problem.
He doesn't do it at school.
Only at home. He's lazy. Only at home. He never does it at school.
Imagine dog actually, if you're a kid, the dog's lecturing you. Look at him. Yeah, sure.
He never does it at school. All right, Colin. Take your pants down. Give me some wipes. Honey! I need some more underwear.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN. Mike and the Mad Dog.
I have been around for 50 years. Not a thing. Twice, this team out of nowhere has knocked us off twice. I'll give you one other stat. Giants have played 4 postseason games in Joe Robbie Stadium in the last 6 years. And they have lost every game in the last at-bat.
Yep.
Every freaking game in that stupid ballpark, they've lost in the last. I got Ernie Kashonis calling me up and going crazy. Marlin this, Marlin that. Marlin fans are nowhere to be found, and now I can't win a game in that park in front of 65,000 people. I mean, why waste my time? Every single freaking year, I get myself juiced up with this stupid team, and at 43 years of age and 3 kids, enough already. Let them go hurt somebody else. I mean, when am I ever going to have a chance to win a lousy freaking champion? One time! Not 20! One lousy time! Gee whiz! Every single, beep that GD. Every single time! Ah, come on, will you please? Can you beat the Florida Marlins one time? 4 straight losses in that ballpark. Not to mention Busch Stadium in 87. Not to mention 93-12-1 last year. They spit it up. Every every single time. The game in Wrigley Field, nobody beats the Cubs. We can't beat them in 98. Nobody beats them. We stink. The Mets, the lousy Mets did it to us. Gosh, every time. I never win. Every year I'm sitting there, and I'll be there October 26th, and they're big Dusty to annoy me. I'll be there October 26th, and the Yankees will be parading down the Canyon of Heroes with their 27th championship, and I'm out again. I don't care how many books I write, how many kids I have, how many Marconis. I don't care. Mike can put me on that show forever. I don't care. Win one. I'll give it all back. I'll leave now. Why? That's all I want is one. Oh, no. I'll leave. I swear I'll leave. I'll quit. Mustard can be happy. I'll leave one time. Once. I'll get out of here forever. You'll never see me again. Let me win once. Once. I'm getting on 43 years of age. I'm not getting any younger. I'm not as old as Mike, but I'm not getting any younger.
Joe DiMaggio is Joe DiMaggio, but Joe DiMaggio at 82 in 1982-83 is what he is the keeper of his own flame. That's exactly what he is. I mean, Joe DiMaggio's career is not built on Joe DiMaggio in 1982. It's built on Joe DiMaggio in 1941. It's not built on Joe DiMaggio in 1982. Exactly what did Joe DiMaggio do in 1982 except be Joe DiMaggio? That's what he did in 1982. He signed autographs. I mean, it wasn't like Joe DiMaggio was, running the country in 1982. He was being Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio is Joe DiMaggio because of what he did in 1941.
I try to be always respectful to the audience, and I've never looked that audience in the eye and lied, not 1 minute. But I can promise you, as you can go listen to the interview, I was never asleep.
And it's just not the case, finally, for the first time in a long time. The only thing that you can see, Mike, and, Teixeira's absence is part of this. The Yankees have been, a little affected by left-handed pitchers lately, and they're going to face two of them in this series. So no matter what the rest of the team looks like, if these pitchers hold the Yankees down, you could be looking at a game where they might lose 3-1 or.
End of the spring, and here she comes back. High, 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 hey. Them summer days, oh, summer days.
Go ahead. I haven't heard this song in a long time. It's really not a great song, but it reminds me of the summer, though. I don't know if Mongo Jerry ever had another hit.
In the summertime, when the weather is high, you can stretch right up and touch the sky. When the weather's fine, you got women on your mind. Have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
The High-Flying Life of Evel Knievel, American showman, daredevil, and legend. No, to me, Evel Knievel doesn't do it. I have no interest in Evel Knievel. God bless him. But if he jumped 100 cars in a Vegas parking lot, I wouldn't even walk outside and watch. I mean, that's just me. I have no interest. It just doesn't do anything for me. As Fonzie did. He jumped the shark as far as I was concerned, okay? I mean, no one realized when Fonzie did that. I was out of Happy Days by the time Fonzie jumped the shark, okay? But no one realized he created a legendary piece of American jargon at the moment that he. And if folks don't, people who have heard the expression don't realize the expression comes from the Happy Days episode, where if you grew up with Happy Days, which I did, but Happy Days stayed around a lot of years after we were all gone, and it got really stupid. Now listen, LeBron has got to keep his shorts on. I totally agree. Okay, I doubt he was trying to do that to expose himself. If LeBron wanted to do a nude pictorial, there's plenty of people who give him plenty of money to do it. All right, so he might as well get paid for doing such things. So I don't know what his motivation was there, but he's got to keep his shorts on. So I'll give you that one. Okay, he's got to keep his shorts on. What's up, Benny?
Hey, how you doing, Mike? First time, long time.
Good.
I just wanted to, first of all, that's a gorgeous shirt you got on.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
That really is. That looks top notch.
Anthony in Long Island. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, Mike, I really like your armpit hair. It brings out your eye.
I don't know what that was about. Some child calling for something. I guess, school must be out. Joe on the cell. What's up, Joe?
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
What's happening?
Not much. Mike, can you do me a favor and at least announce the Colts head coach name correctly? It's Caldwell. It's not Cardwell, Mike.
Who cares? You know what? If you don't like the way I announce things, then don't worry about it. I mean, if you don't like the way I pronounce my R's and L's, then don't worry about it. I'll tell you what. After I'm out here, the next guy can pronounce Caldwell. If my R and L, if you don't like the way I roll them, you know what? Tough. And that's what I'm going to tell you. Tough. I don't care.
But what I want to say to you is me and you are St. John's alum. I'm St. John's prep. You're St. John's, period, university.
Yes.
But trust me, this NCAA tournament, it ain't going to be Kentucky. Because the reps already set the tone that they're going to steal it somehow, some way. But I don't want to.
So the officials are going to. The officials are going to. Go ahead. Make your point. Go back. Make your point. Go ahead.
You and Herb Cross and all the people with CBS back then.
What's your other point? Go ahead. What's your other point?
Yeah, when you used to be on that.
I know. I got it. Go ahead. What else? Tell me what else you want to talk about.
I love your Oceanside. Cut it out. All right. But this is what I want to say.
Go ahead. Say it.
All right. Let me collect my thoughts because you just distracted me.
You got one more shot, so go ahead.
I know you getting ready to
go. Let's go.
Mike, you like a brother to me, man.
I appreciate it very much.
30-something years.
There you do. Okay.
When you was an intern, okay?
Let's go. So I'm giving you another chance, Bubba. Say something. Say something.
All right. Let me just say, I got a prediction.
Go ahead.
Gonzaga or this Wisconsin team with that Comiskey guy.
So Wisconsin and Gonzaga. I appreciate it. Terry in the Bronx, what's up, Terry?
Happy birthday to you.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Actually, it would be an honor.
Thank
it would be an honor to sing you happy birthday.
No, that's enough. That's enough. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, you claim that you let callers talk about anything with you, yet you refuse to answer questions about Artie Lang's podcast and how you were caught tongue-kissing Dan Flattle's tiny hole.
See, well, just dumb fool. There's another guy who's just, a fool. But again, he doesn't get it on the air. That's what he doesn't realize. It gets beeped out because you have to have a delay for guys like that who are going to be vulgar on the air, and no one hears it, though. That's the problem. Dan in Warwick, what's up, Dan?
Hey, Mike. I just got a question about the Giants. In your years of experience, have you ever seen, how the San Francisco Giants were once the New York Giants? Has there ever been either a franchise to franchise or maybe even player to player get together when San Francisco comes to New York? Like, do they ever say hi? Maybe, I don't know, go out to dinner or something?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Is there ever any interaction when the San Francisco Giants come to New York or vice versa?
The San Francisco Giants come to New York and do what?
Have a game.
They play against the Mets, and what do you want to happen now?
Do the New York Giants ever reach out to them, either the players or the franchises?
The football Giants?
Yeah, the football Giants.
Well, what is the connection between the San Francisco Giants and the football Giants?
Well, they used to be in New York, and they got the same name.
But they have nothing to do with each other, though. There's no connection. They have different ownership. There's no connection between the two teams. I mean, there's no connection in any way between the two teams. They have no relationship. Do you think because they're Giants are like brothers or something? That might be the weirdest question I got in a long time. I mean, that might, and I think that's an honest question. That might be the strangest question I got in a really long time.
What do you think about Vince Lombardi as the head coach? I really think he can make a big difference for them. What do you think?
Wait a second. You actually, you called up to ask me.
Yeah.
Is that, Mike, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
Well, I was wondering.
When you got out of bed this morning,
Yeah.
Did you work today?
Yeah, I'm working now.
Are you working now? What do you do for a living?
Actually, I'm a fireman.
You're a fireman?
Yeah.
You're a fireman?
Yeah.
Where?
I'm a volunteer fireman.
You're a volunteer fireman?
Yes.
Are you working right now?
No, I don't work.
Oh, you're unemployed?
Yeah, I lost my job the other day.
You lost it the other day?
And the guy, yeah.
So you decided, instead of going looking for a job, you decided to call up and ask me if a deceased coach would be a good coach for the Knicks.
Well, I didn't know he was deceased.
Listen, really?
I'm on unemployment.
Well, I'm not surprised if you don't. I mean, really, I'm not surprised. Chappie in New Canaan, what's up, Chappie?
Hello, Mike.
What's happening? What's up? Let's go.
Hi there. I'm here.
Let's go.
I'm here.
You got to go. Let's go. Talk. Hello?
Mike?
Yes, go. Go talk.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Absolutely.
Hello?
Mike?
Yes, go. Would you start speaking? Stan in New Jersey. What's up, Stan? What's happening, Stan?
Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, Stan, I can hear you. What's going on?
All right. Yeah, and the last call say made it for yeah, give me a break. No, it's thinking A-Rod, you know what, if it comes back, has a good year, you know what, everything's going to shut down, and, blah, blah, blah. So, that's just my opinion.
I don't know. Wait, what was your opinion? I don't get what your opinion was. What was it?
No, with A-Rod.
What's your opinion about A-Rod, though?
Oh, you know what? He did what all the other guys did. So...
All right. I'm just trying to get what your opinion was.
But one thing the team is definitely lacking this season is leadership. And when I look at that, do you think if the Mets could get Jeter to be captains with Wright?
What? What are you saying? What's the question? I'd hang up too after I something about Jeter going to the Mets. Chris in Amity Harbor, what's up, Chris?
Francesa! I am so excited for my Mets this year, and it's the first time since I'm 10 years old that I broke out my highlighter and started marking off on the calendar the games that I want to go to. Now, unfortunately, I will not be in attendance tonight. But, however, I am looking forward to, I want to say, about 13 or 14 games this year. And I've been dominant Citi Field for the last 3 years. Point number 2.
That's enough. One's enough. We got to go.
Mike McCall wrote an article about that.
I don't understand the point.
Well, the Yankees.
Yeah, but why would they honor... They're honoring Bernie Williams. Why would they honor Greg Nettles and Willie Randolph?
Well, they play for the Yankees.
Yeah, but why? What does that have to do with Bernie Williams?
Well, all in one night, the same night. I mean, just to honor Bernie Williams, to honor Greg Nettles and Willie Randolph.
Why?
Well, it was in the Post. Mike McCall wrote the article.
No, but the point... it's Bernie Williams night.
Yeah.
So what is Greg Nettles and Willie Randolph have to do with it?
Because they used to play for the Yankees.
No, but I understand, but why that night?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Are they going to
Why are you asking me if they would retire? It's Bernie Williams' evening. It's his night. Why would they have anybody else involved that night?
I don't know, because a couple of months ago, Mike McCall wrote an article, said they're going to honor those two on the night that they're going to honor a Yankee. It was in the Post.
You know what? I don't know anything about it. I just know they're retiring Bernie's number. I don't know anything about what they're doing for Nettles.
Well, that's why I called and asked you. Maybe you might know.
No, I have no idea. And I don't even know if they're retiring those guys' numbers.
Well, yeah, a couple of months ago, Mike McCall wrote an article in the Post.
So what? Maybe he was asking that they should retire them.
Well, it'd be nice.
That doesn't mean they are retiring them.
Well, if they're honoring Bernie Williams that night,
so what does that have to do with
Yankees? That's what I'm asking you.
They're honoring Bernie Williams that night.
I understand that.
Period.
I know that.
Sentence. That's it.
Okay.
So that's it. That's all they're honoring that night is Bernie Williams.
All right. That's all they want to honor.
So that's it.
I didn't know if they were honoring those two as well.
Why would they do that on his night?
Because they used to be Yankees.
But why that night? They could pick their own night. Why would they have them that night? Well, then why don't we take like 60 other Yankees and honor all them that night, too?
Derek Jeter, too. Why not?
Listen, from the beginning, this call didn't make any sense. So, I mean... Wait a second. You think? Come on now. Wait a second. Get lost. I can't take any more of this babble. Justin in Dobbs Ferry. What's up, Justin?
Hey, Mike, don't let the trolls get you down.
Listen, you know what? They should realize by now nothing they will ever say or what anyone will ever say. If you do what I do, you cannot let the public or 1/10 of it impact you, or 1/100th of it. You cannot. You're not going to please everybody. You're going to have people who try to annoy you. That's part of being in the public eye. You cannot let that.
You're number one.
You cannot let people bother you. Just do your job. That's all you can do. That stuff does not even faze me.
Wait a second.
This isn't the whole reason. Let me say the rest.
Did he take the balls and order the equipment guy to alter them?
No.
No. What do you mean no?
Could you please let me explain why?
No, I don't want to hear this garbage. Give me an answer to the questions I asked you.
I'd like to tell you.
I don't want your math equations. Tell me, you just told me he didn't doctor the balls.
That is correct.
Did you read the evidence?
I read it all.
And you think that Tom Brady did not instruct those guys to doctor the balls?
That is correct.
What are you, nuts?
Wait a second. Java. Wait a second. Alex, how many?
Yeah.
What's Java's ERA this year?
Wait, it was 3.7 going into last night to what? Maybe 3.8, 3.9 right now?
3.9. Wait a second. Andy Pettit is a starting pitcher. Andy Pettit's a starting pitcher who's won almost 200 games. What are you talking about?
If Andy Pettit goes 6 innings.
Andy Pettit can't pitch the.
It's a miracle.
Hey, Alex, Andy Pettit can't pitch the 8th inning. Hey, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get me the Java stats for his career. I'll teach Alex a lesson here.
When you had guys tied at -1, they only put one guy up. They didn't put all the -1s up. They put one guy up. It made it seem like only one guy was -1 or -2. No, they only put one guy up of the bunch. They never went to a second page on the leaderboard. Who said it's only 5 guys all day? What, only 5 guys ever get mentioned the whole day? That's why you never knew anybody was making a run, because you had nobody on the board. Why were they locked into that five people thing? Then they have the 5 people up all day. They go to commercial and give you a full screen of the 5 guys. The 5 guys have been there the whole time. You don't need a full screen of the 5 guys. We already know their scores. Yeah, it was rough.
What you guys are saying, it's not true what they're saying to you. You're telling me they're trying to tell you that the union can tell them who to play?
Absolutely.
No way. No, that's ridiculous.
Listen, I am in agreement with
that. Is, wait a second. You're telling me the union can tell them who to put on the field?
That is what
that is ridiculous.
That is what the Jets are telling
that is that is utter nonsense.
Listen,
get me the Player Association on the phone there. I'll prove it right. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Since when can the union tell you who to put on the field?
Well, that is what the Jets are saying, and the Jets' stance is they feel that they are being egged on by everybody to not dress them so that they can take on the union. And my understanding,
they don't have to take on a union. They have to pay them. They never have to be. Peter, use your noodle here. How can you ever compel a team to play anybody? They saw your team put up 0 effort. They watched them yesterday play like absolute just garbage. And yesterday, Orton completed 10 passes for 9,000 yards. Sammy Watkins, it was so easy, he forgot he was playing. He thought he was in a scrimmage. He only caught 3 passes yesterday for 157 yards. You know how long it takes a Jet receiver to get 157 yards? 3 years. Here's the problem with the Jets and Rex Ryan. They are so easily satisfied. Any little victory, even inside the game, makes them smile and high five. They're still losing and they're doing that.
No. St. Louis, 85. All right, let me see what we got here. All right. Two-point conversion. Let me see. I'm not getting the Reds come up here. Let me go the other way. Stats. Let me find them here. Okay, here we go. I'll get them in a minute. I can't find them right now. Let me look at my bag. I think it's November the 4th. Here it is. Where's the stuff about the family? Let me find it here. They think the commissioner is partial to Kraft, which he is. It's his buddy. Kraft, commissioner can't say he's not buddies with Kraft. He socializes with him. So we all know that. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. I know I've been in things they've been at together. So, I mean, it's not an issue. I have been at events. I was at a social event 2 years ago in June where at the next table was the commissioner and his wife, Les Moonves and Mr. Kraft and his date for the evening, since his wife had passed away. That was the threesome. I have seen them at other events together. They are very close. They are incredibly close. Let me bring this up for a second. Yeah. I know Wisenhunt pretty well. I've known Wisenhunt a long time. Like I said, I've known Wisenhunt a very long time. How about Rondo and Carlisle already? A little battle. You know, you knew. We all know.
Are you surprised?
No, you're not. And you know Carlisle, and I know Rick a long time. He's a good coach. He's not going to take a lot of nonsense.
I'm up in Boston. It's the Terry Francona return, which will be a nice story.
In a very tough place to manage, he did such a great job. And what I remember, Peter, was, and I told Terry this, and I know him as you do very well. I stayed next to Mayweather in a hotel at the Super Bowl. He had so many people with him. It was unbelievable. I could not believe it. He must have had 50 people with him. In Arizona, when I stayed at the Arizona Biltmore, he was staying next to me. And they had vans with his name on them. They must have had like 9 vans outside. I mean, it was unbelievable how many people they had. He was a tremendous college player. There's no question. Was he a bit of a jerk in college? Yes. I think he liked being a jerk. He did. I think he liked that image. He liked to annoy people in college. And I knew him in college because I was working for CBS and I dealt with him sometimes, and I had a couple of interesting conversations with him, as a matter of fact, at Final Fours. So I knew him. So he was a different kid. I always got along with him. I mean, he's a wise guy. He was a wise guy in those days, but I always got along with him. But I knew Dean Smith, okay? Mm-hmm. I watched him work a lot. I talked to him on numerous occasions. I knew him, okay? I did know him I did watch him work. I did watch him coach. I was at his practices on numerous occasions. Now, you go to Duke, which is, like we said, before that has not really been a one-and-done type school with Mike. And I go back 30 years with Mike. And is it a long day tomorrow, or is it an easy day?
You know, I'm hanging out with Joe Torre. We're having lunch together tomorrow.
Tell him I said hello. He's a good friend. He's a good friend for many years.
He is a gentleman.
I saw Joe Torre Saturday at the Belmont.
Right.
And he was with Baffert, and I was chatting for a while. We had a chance to talk for a while. But Mr. Doubleday, who I actually knew fairly well. I used to chat with him sometimes at the ball games, knew him pretty well. And he was always very nice to me. So I used to talk to him from time to time. So when I saw Jose, I told him that. I said, Jose, you know what? And I know Jose well because he used to live near me. And I've told you many times we share the same rehab guy. The guy who rehabs Jose is the guy who rehabbed me when I when I have injuries. Rob Panarello, he works with Jose all the time, and so I see Jose from time to time there, even in the off season with Rob. And last time I saw Jose there, we talked, and I said, actually, I had a catch with him. We were having a catch for a while because Jose was working on his arm, and we were throwing a ball.
Let me begin with the passing of Pat Summerall. I didn't know Pat for almost 35 years. So I didn't know him. And when I got to CBS, Pat was a very big star. I've actually done a couple of charity things with Randy Savage through the years, so I do know him. So I actually played in a couple of those tournaments with him. Is he actually getting into the Hall of Fame this week, the Macho Man? Is that true?
Yeah,
Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, well, good. He's actually the one wrestler actually. He's dead now? I didn't know he's dead. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
In a car accident.
Oh, he did? Really? I mean, when we did these games years ago, these charity softball games, he used to play in them with us. With Imus and those guys, he used to play in the games with us. So I did know him. I didn't see him in a long time, obviously. But when did he die?
Like 2 or 3 years ago.
A car accident?
A car accident. There's reports he had a heart attack.
Oh, geez. He was a nice guy. I mean, he used to come playing. We did those things up at Yale. We had those charity games up there a couple of years. He played in those with us. He was around, so I did know him. But I mean, obviously, I haven't seen him in a very long time. Nor did I know that he had passed away.
I know you're a big, TV guy. I've never heard you talk about it. Sons of Anarchy. Are you a fan?
I've never seen it.
Oh, great show.
I know.
I don't work for the show. I'm not promoting it. But.
Well, I happen to know one of the guys on the show. So.
Who do you know?
I'm not sure that his character's name. His name is Theo.
What is it?
It's Theo.
Oh, Theo. Oh, I had Theo Rossi?
Yeah, I don't know what character he plays.
I think he plays Juice.
I know. I sit with him in the Knick games. That's how I know him.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
And you sit with him and you've never seen...
I've never seen the show. I know it gets great reviews, but I've sat with him a couple of times at the Knick games. So he's a wonderful guy.
He's a great character.
He's a wonderful guy. Really terrific guy. So I do know him. But
I've been around people like Gil Hodges and Davey Johnson, Red Holtzman. We go sport to sport. Now
You're old enough to have been around Red Holtzman?
Well, I mean, I was a kid like you, and I followed basketball, and great coaches.
I knew Red Holtzman.
Well, I mean, I'm not as old as you, but I'm
Well,
getting
I don't know how you would have been around them. I mean, I was young when I was around them. I mean, so how would you have been around them?
Well, how were you around him? You were around him when you were 15.
I was, yeah, I was.
You knew Red Holtzman when you were 15?
Yeah, because he actually used to go to the beach near where I lived.
Okay, well,
yeah.
I mean, so you sat and talked with him?
Yes, I did. I've been at every event, barring the except for the Indianapolis 500. I've been to every sporting event in the country.
Well, if you talk about bad luck, what they should never have done is let Phil Jackson in the building for Game 7 to continue his brilliant homecoming.
Phil was
there. Why do you think they lost?
Phil was in the building. He was.
Yes, he was. Why
he sat right across from me.
What's that?
He sat right across from me.
Of course he did.
He did.
You guys are both there in the same seat.
No, he sat right across I'm sitting right across the aisle. He sat right next to Spike Lee. I saw them both sitting there.
But have you ever been to any of these Game 7s?
Been all of them.
Oh.
I'm with the first-time caller. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Listen, I'm sure you were watching Rangers Capitals Game 7.
I was there.
What do you think about that?
I was there. As that overtime game 7 ended, and he was waiting for it to be one of the stars of the game, I was a couple rows behind the bench there, sitting there watching as he skated over and put his arm around you, waiting to do the interview with you.
They weren't there. It was the most boring game I've been at.
It was quiet. It was very quiet. I was there. I mean, Washington series was an unbelievable series. Yeah. And being there in Game 5 with 2 minutes left, I'm thinking, oh boy, it's going to end right here, and boom. Well, listen, the Washington series, and I was at 3 of the 4 Washington games. In your building where you have been so successful in these Game 7s at home and in these elimination games, you're 0-0, the building very tense. I was in there. I was sitting right behind your bench. You're in there, Game 7. I saw Breeny the other day, and we were talking about the final, and he had time off, so he came to the hockey game, Game 7. With his wife, and we were chatting in between periods. So I saw Breeny because he rarely gets a chance to do that this time of year because he's got the finals, and we were chatting about it for a while.
This is going to be the most exciting 2.5 minutes in sports, bar none.
Oh, it's very. I can tell you this.
Story of the year, maybe of the century.
I've been there for all but one. I've been there for all but one of these tries since the last winner, which was affirmed in '78. Sunday Silence, I was there. I was there for Easy Goer. I was there for Touch Gold. I was there for Victory Gallop. I was there for Lemon Drop Kid. I was there for Saraba, Empire Maker, Birdstone, Tatara, Union Rags, Tonalist. I've been there for every one of those. I was there for Tatara. I was there for Big Brown. Yes, I was. I was there for every one of those. I was not there for Spectacular Bid. I've been there for every one of those since. I've been there for every one of those that were on the board right there. 5 minutes before that guy's outburst, he had been standing up in the seats, because I was there, predicting his horse could not lose. He stood up in front of the crowd, because I was there, 10 minutes before the race, and proclaimed that his horse couldn't lose. I've been out there. I've gone through the infield at Churchill Downs. It is a crazy scene. And you got your heart broken with Real Quiet. I mean, I thought, sitting on my seat where it's always been the same right on the finish line, I thought Real Quiet had won. And, people talk about winning it, Real Quiet. I was sitting here on the finish line, and I thought Real Quiet had won. I mean, that's how close the race was.
When that horse came back to the winner's circle, and that crowd was facing that horse, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen on television. I was there. I was there, and it was loud. Some people have said it's the loudest building they've ever been in. I didn't sense that. I've been in probably a lot more than most people have. So you'll see Al wearing this bracelet that says Al on it in silver and black, and it just says Al. Greek gave him that, and he always had it on. And it was a present. I was there when Greek gave it to him. And how about having him do which Jim Nance, I should tell you, because I've seen him do it, does that ad lib on Sunday from Butler Cabin. He does the whole thing over pictures, ad lib, no script. Okay? Because I've been there with him. Yeah. A lot of us saw Rose bet a lot. I saw Rose bet when he was a player. I saw him bet in the offseason at a card show when he was a player, like a madman. I saw Al Kaline play. I mean, he's a really good player. I've seen Tiger. I saw Tiger play a couple of times. I saw him play at Bethpage. As a matter of fact, I saw him hit a shot on 5 at Bethpage. I was probably not more than 4 feet away from him. I saw Michael Jordan play in person 200 times, maybe more. And I saw Will play in person. I saw him play a couple times. He was unbelievable. Right, yeah, I remember those days. I was in the locker room I was in the locker room for a couple of those presentations, and in that Celtic locker room in '85, I was in there, and they were shooting champagne corks, and man, it was scary because the room was so small, and they were all in that little visiting Celtic room, and you were trying to duck the champagne corks because they're shooting them out of the bottles, and they're hitting people with the champagne corks. When I was in New England, the day that Will McDonough wrote about up there, the story Will wrote, one of his big story he wrote about how he was in the fight with Kraft and Bill, and he was the third guy in the room. What he didn't write was I was sitting in the room watching the Carolina game when that fight took place. I was there. So Will was telling the truth. He was there. I was there. He didn't write that I was the fourth person in the room. It didn't matter, but I was in the room.
So, I mean, in those days, I was there that day when they played Jacksonville. And I was watching the Carolina game in the office when that whole thing occurred. And what Will wrote was true. It was dead true. I was there. Will was there. Hey, don't tell me that Babe Ruth played on that field. He didn't play on that field. That's the biggest myth in the world that he played on that field. They rebuilt the place.
That's fair, but don't sit there and say that.
And I went to the old ballpark 1,000 times.
I did too.
You know what?
I did too. I went as much as you did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
No, you didn't.
Well, I know
I'm sorry,
you went.
Didn't.
Well,
I did.
Fine.
I'm older and I went there a lot more times, I promise you.
Did I go to the old Yankee Stadium?
Yes.
Okay.
But I went there a zillion times. Let me tell you something. And I've been a Yankee fan and went there thousands of times. I went and watched the Cardinals on purpose for this reason. I wanted to sit right there. I sat right on top of Pujols. I didn't tell you. I mean, we sat, basically Pujols sat in our lap. We sat right there, right on top of Pujols. And I watched Pujols. Pujols is so in command of that team. Did you see Draft Day?
Yes.
Did you
yes,
think it? Did you think it? Now you've been in a room many times. I've been in a room for a couple times for different teams because I used to sit down there and the same cameraman would sit at my feet every game when I was sitting courtside.
Even outdoes the Flutie play, which I was at that game. I was one of the people who can tell you I really was at that game. I can even tell you that I actually had an input into making that game the year before in the scheduling, so I had a hand in that. And I was at that game on that afternoon.
I mean, I actually went back and read this thing that it's the most bizarre thing in the history. He's telling people that I want to be the general manager of the team. It's the most ridiculous thing in the history of mankind. First of all, I couldn't take the pay cut. Then or now. I'm being honest with you. I've only had one job or even I've never even considered having another job since I got this one. Not once. Not one time. Have I ever considered another job? I am under a long-term contract now. I have always been under a long-term contract, and I have never, ever thought about doing anything else, ever.
I was wondering, if you know so much about sports, how come you never became like a head coach or something?
Why didn't I become a head coach? Almost went into it once. Almost went once. Early 90s. 91, 92, 92, 93, right around there. Well, we had taken off, had an opportunity to go into the NFL and didn't. That was the only chance I had to go in and didn't go. And when I take a pay cut to go, which was hard to do at that time, that was a big part of it, to be honest with you, because, Mike and Amanda had kind of taken off. And I would have to take a pay cut to do it, to take the job I was offered. But it was, if I had done it, I think I would have done well in the NFL. General manager of the Jets, Mr. T, how are you?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. I'm sure it's been a busy week. Well, listen, you were brought up under a completely different system, a system that I also learned under. What's up, Jamie?
I do think you're very pompous sometimes. When you were on with Mr. T yesterday, you said that you guys come from the same school and you were both schooled the same way. I just don't understand what your NFL pedigree is, Mike. I just don't.
Listen, he knows what I'm talking about because he and I go back many, many years together and spend plenty of time together. So he knows what we're talking about. Doesn't matter if you do. Here's what I meant by that. The guy who taught Mr. T everything that he knows now and really broke him into the sport, I spent about 18 years of my life with on a daily basis. So that's my point. And so, unless I was basically either not listening or just, asleep, I kind of heard the same lessons over and over and over again, a million times, and was there for the meetings and was sitting in there and was part of it. And I spent a lot of time. Never, from day one, never went around the team. I never was in a meeting room. I've never even considered having another job since I got this one. Not once. Not one time. Have I ever considered another job? Why didn't I become a head coach? Almost went into it once. Almost went once. I should be everything you think about right now. Alex, I don't know what happened last night, but the first 3 innings, I'm in the car coming back from a charity dinner, and the next thing you know, he's given up 7 runs and he's out of the game. I went to some of the games, sat in the stands, didn't even sit in the press box, sat in the stands if I went to the game. Went to some games, even went out to the Denver game.
Didn't go with the team. I flew on my own to the Denver game. I have a lot of championships. Okay, Rex Ryan has 0. I have a tremendously successful broadcasting career for a quarter of a century. Let the record show if they've accomplished what I've accomplished, God bless them. They want to match resumes. They can match 3 things: resumes, longevity, ratings, paychecks. And when I look at any of those areas, I'll match them anytime. Bring them on. Bring it on. We'll look in all those areas and we'll see who's winning. What am I worried about? Which part of my career is going badly? I've been in the same show 28 years. I was number 1 in 1989 with Dog. I'm number 1 today. Last time I looked, it's 2014. I'm still number 1. I got a long-term contract, beautiful family. And I also have a Sunday night show that is unbelievably, if you let me say, successful. I have nothing to prove here anymore. This place will these guys, they'll let me do whatever I want. I've earned that. They trust my judgment. And why not? I've made them money. They've made me a lot of money. I've made them a lot of money. That's how it works.
You know, you guys are wasting your own time, not mine. I mean, they pay me a lot of money to do this. So, I mean, you're not bothering me, I promise.
Because I'm still going to be here tomorrow, the next day, and get paid a fortune to sit here and do this. So just remember that. You know, I first heard about it because they were supposed to, the governor was, I asked I saw a couple of security guys at the Belmont, who I usually see each year, because they line up right outside where I sit, because that's the path they come down to go to the dignitaries box. It's about 4 rows in front of mine, and having boys that are 8 and 10 and typical sports kids. Now, I understand their dad's in the business. I'd like to just go to Saratoga as just a regular person and enjoy it.
You play golf, do you think?
I'm not Tiger Woods. I don't. You know what are you going to do? It happens. I'm human.
Wait a second. Are you just lost? Are you just totally lost?
Wait a second.
You have to feel when it
All right, now wait a second.
the start game. And they need the 250 hitter. Why do we got to be married?
No, wait a second. Well, first of all, wait a second. Well, wait a second. Well, wait a second. No, wait a second. Is that Manchester United thing? Oh, who cares? Oh, my God. The last thing I care about is the Yankees owning the soccer team. My God, I could care less. I couldn't care. I don't care what team it is. I don't care where it is, what it is. I could care less what soccer team they own. That doesn't interest me. You couldn't get me involved in that if my life depended on it. I could care less. I mean, listen, I know I could care less, but you got to give them credit for making money. I mean, 100,000 people will be there. And the Yankees, let's be honest, they are bending over backwards to make CeCe's thoughts sound better than they are. Let's be honest. Because anything, last night's treated as a positive. Let's be honest. Last night was okay at best.
The man is warmed up.
Oh, Bill, get lost. Come on, please. Please. Frank, Kansas isn't any good. Get lost. Well, Pujols' numbers for his career are unbelievable. I mean, Trout's going to have to go away to do what Pujols has done. Pujols' numbers are, Pujols is closing in on, A-Rod type numbers.
Earlier in the year when they would pitch around Trout to get the Pujols.
Oh, yeah, well, they didn't think Pujols had it anymore. But Pujols now, they're not pitching around Trout to pitch to Pujols now, that's for sure. I mean, Pujols has been on a tear. He leads the majors in home runs right now, Pujols.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, he has gotten, we never thought we'd see this out of Pujols again. Back after this. All right, we're back. And you're going to be very worried. Would you be worried off what you saw yesterday from Tanaka?
Do these rebels, do they worry you at all? Are you worried?
Again, Casey, if you think Harvey's your problem, you're lost. He's not your problem. He's not what you're worried about. It's not Matt Harvey-like. What are you worried about? The guy's got a 1.1 whip, and he's got a 3.1 ERA. What are you worried about with a winning record? I mean, if you're going to say that you're worried about Matt Harvey, you got a million other things to worry about before you're worried about Matt Harvey.
Enormous men are pounding into each other. The body can only take so much.
Mr. Doubleday, who I actually knew fairly well. I've known Winston Hunt a long time.
And I know Jose well, and I knew him in college.
I actually met Secretary.
I got along well with Herm Edwards. I got along well with Mangini. I always got along with Tannenbaum. We always got along very well. And I go back 30 years with Mike. But I knew Dean Smith, okay? Because I know Fred Hoiberg very well. And the commissioner can't say he's not playing with Kraft. He socializes with her. I've been in things they've been at together. I stayed next to Mayweather in a hotel at the Super Bowl. I love Phil, and I know him personally.
I happen to know one of the guys on the show, so he's a wonderful guy, a really terrific guy. So I do know him.
Now every random thought that comes into their head is now tweeted. Why?